Today we'll have a lot of fun making this cute low poly boat, and you will learn a lot of tips, tricks and techniques by making this boat, and this boat will be really handy for our next tutorial. Okay, here in Blender we will actually not delete the default cube, but instead I will press Ctrl I or Command I on a Mac to invert the selection to select the camera and the light, press X and just delete selected objects. We will actually use the default cube, and here you can see what I'm pressing on my keyboard and my mouse, so you will follow along much easier. Right now that we have a default cube, I will press 7 to go to the top view, and now I will press S and Y and just scale it on Y-axis a little bit, and then S and X to scale it on X-axis also a little bit like that. Then I will go to the edit mode, so press tab, and this pie menu is called machine tool. It was free, but now I think it's paid one, so I'm using that a lot. Instead, if you don't have it, don't worry at all, you just need to press tab. You will go directly to one of these three modes. The first one is the vertex mode, then the edge mode, then the face mode. So you can also press 1, 2 and 3 on a keyboard as the shortcuts to switch between them easily, but I'm using this. Okay, so I will go to the face, press Ctrl R to add an edge loop, right click to confirm it, and now I will go to the face here, select this face, S and X to move it close together, and then press 0 on the keyboard to flatten them together. So 0 is the space between them. Press enter, but still we need to weld these edges together. We don't need, but I like to do it. So if I go to the edge mode here, select the edge and G to move it, you can see it's still not welded together. So in order to do it, I will go back to vertices, and in order to select all 4 vertices, I need to go right here to the X-ray, or just press Shift Z, and I will select all the vertices, then M to merge by distance, and you will see here removed 2 vertices. So they are now moved, merged together, welded together, and instead of 4 we have 2. Okay, so now let's go back to normal view, again Shift Z, and if I select one of these vertices, you can see we have only 1. Perfect. Now let's go back to the top view. Let's see. That's okay. So I will go back to the face, select this back face, sorry, and E to extrude it a little bit, like that. Again to the top view, press 7 on the keyboard. By pressing S and X, still the back face is selected. I will scale it a little bit like that, and then I can go right here, Control R, let's see, oops, Control R here, add one edge loop there. Go with this edge loop by holding Alt. I think you know this trick, but by holding Alt and select the edge, you're selecting the whole edge loop. So hold Alt, select this edge loop, press G twice, GG, and move this here, like that. Then Alt, select this edge, GG, and move it somewhere here. And we are now making the basic shape, the silhouette of a boat. So I think this is cool. And maybe this one, GG, a little bit back. Maybe this one here. And yeah, maybe this one also back. Let's move all of them a little bit back. Something like that. Okay, now I will select all 3. So to select one, Alt and click it. Then to select the second one together with the first one, Shift Alt and click, and Shift Alt and click. And I will press Ctrl B to bevel everything, to add bevel of 1. If you scroll with the mouse, you can add more edge loops, but I will go just with 1. So something like that is cool. If you go back to the top view, you can see by adding more edge loops, you have smoother transition of that curve, so smoother curve. By the way, guys, if you're not familiar with the Blender basics, so basic navigation through the workspace, basic tools and shortcuts, I strongly suggest you to go and watch my Blender beginner tutorials. It contains 10 episodes, and you will learn all the basics that you need in order to follow any beginner type of tutorials, and you will really easily follow this one. In case you're struggling with this, go check out the basics and then come back here. Okay, so now that we covered that, let's go back to the edges, and now let's tweak the shape of a boat a little bit more. Maybe not, maybe this is okay. I will see, maybe I will select this one by holding Alt and click, and then GG and move it a little bit forward, and this one, GG, a little bit forward, so like that. I will go to the side view by pressing 3 on a keyboard, go to the edges, and Shift Z to go to X-ray mode, select all the edges. With the X-ray mode, I'm selecting everything in the front and in the back. But if I'm not in X-ray mode, then just select like that, you will see I'm selecting only what I'm seeing. So this is why I'm pressing Shift Z select everything, Shift Z to go back, and then G and Z and move this up. So I want my boat not to be that tall, so this is okay. And also let's go to this front view by pressing 1 and then S and X to make really cool shape of a boat. Something like this I think is okay, but now we need to add this kind of curvature of a boat. So Control R to add an edge loop here, like this, and maybe bevel it, Control B actually to add 2 of them. All right, something like this, and click somewhere else. Again, Alt click to select this one. So maybe SX and go a little bit like that, SX and a little bit like this, and I think we have really nice shape of a boat. Yeah, really nice curvature, beautiful. Now let's go to the side view and refine this. So I will go back to the vertices, Shift Z to go to the X-ray mode, and I will select, let's see, this one, G, and move it here, this one, G, and move it here, maybe this one also G, and a little bit, just to reposition this a little bit. Actually, I want this to be straight. I don't want to move them almost at all, but I will move instead these ones, so like that. I'm just moving them on Y-axis, like this. Okay, G, and just move it. Just trying to see what I like about this basic shape of this boat. So something, yeah, maybe this one I will move a little bit down also. Here, it's perfectly okay. And also here, I want, let's see, this one to go a little bit up, and this one, actually select these two, G and Z, and move it a little bit up, just like that. Okay, let's go back with the Shift Z and let's see our basic shape. I think I really like it. Go back to the object mode, and this is really cool. Let's see the top view, the silhouette. Yeah, the silhouette, I just need this. Let's see the bottom and the bottom view. Okay, so the top view, I like these two. I like to go with SX, SX, and scale it a little bit here. This one was too far, so this is why this happened. Maybe select this edge and GG, GX. Let's see, and maybe this one GX. Oops. SX, not GX, SX. Okay, this is much better. Let's see the front view, cool. Top view, cool. And side view, okay. I only want to move this, and this a little bit, GY and back. GY and a little bit more back, something like this. All right, this is the shape of our boat. Maybe if it's too slim, we can easily go with SX and make it a little bit more like this shape, which is also really cool. Maybe I like it even better. All right, now that we finished with that, let's add the hole in the boat. So there are so many ways how you can do the same trick. I will show one of the ways which I think it works the best. Actually, we need the least amount of steps to make something. So let me show. I will go here to the face mode and select all of these faces and X and delete faces. Okay, we have this. This is boat, I don't know how to, boat main shape or boat main shape. Okay. I didn't figure out better name for this, but it doesn't matter. All right, so now this boat needs to have several things. It needs to have depth, dimension, actually, the thickness, and needs to have different elements inside and boards where the people can sit, etc., where the pedals will be attached, etc. But in order to do this, there are a few ways. Again, I will show you what I think it's the fastest way. Usually you can go select everything, go with Alt E and extrude along normals and make it something like that, and cool, we have a depth of a boat, beautiful. But then if we want to extrude these as a separate like planks around the board, it's a little bit, it's not hard, but we need extra steps. So I will show you a better way to do this, exactly the same trick. So the way is, let's first check out the normals. So everything is cool, blue is outside, red is inside, this is what we want. So the trick is to go and select the solidify modifier, perfect, and go outside like this, for example, choose the thickness of a boat. This is really cool because it's non-destructive and you can always change it, and it will make a lot of sense later, really soon. But this is how the boat looks with that thickness. All right, perfect. Now what I like to do is to make a copy of a boat, Shift D, like that, and apply this solidify modifier. So apply it, and by using this, now if I go to faces, I have this as a geometry. I will go and Shift D, duplicate this, P, separate by selection, and go back to the object. And now we can delete the main boat because I don't need it, I just needed this. We could do this differently, but I think this is the easiest way. So now that we have this, I will go to the edges, to the inside edge, and go with, actually before that, go to the object, set the origin to geometry, and I want to scale it. Apply the scale, Control A, apply the scale, and Shift S and cursor to select it to the center of geometry. Also, let's go back to the edges and S and just scale it a little bit inside. Okay, and I think this is beautiful. Except this edge, I will go with G, Y, and move it a little bit back. And then I will select everything and go with E and extrude it up a little bit. Like this, okay? Maybe G and Z a little bit down, something like that. Perfect. And we have this, I don't know, outer rim of a boat, which we will use it later. I will for now hide. This is boat top edge. Right? Really creative names. And now let's go back to the boat. So boat needs to have a little bit of geometry inside. And for that, I will go back to edge. I will hide the solidify modifier to easier see what I'm doing and what I'm working with. And I will select this edge by holding Alt and just select it. Shift D to duplicate it, Escape to leave it in place, P to separate by selection, and then go back to the object mode by pressing Tab and select this one. This is the inner, I don't know, inner holder or rim, or I don't know how to say it, or inner rim. Let's go with inner rim. Okay, and in order to make it three-dimensional, we need to go, for example, to vertices and select everything, E extrude, S scale it, and just scale it down. Okay, let's go to the top view. This is beautiful, except these two, G, Y, move it back here, and we have this really nice and cool. Go back to the faces, select all the faces, E to extrude it, and just extrude it up a little bit like this. And all right, we will leave it like that. Then we need a little bit more geometry. Let's select the boat, go to the edges and select this edge, Shift Alt, Shift Alt, Shift Alt, and select all of these edges. Again, Shift D, make a copy of it. P, separate by selection. Go back, and here you can see we have the solidify modifier on. I can just delete it because we extruded it, but it doesn't matter. Now that we separated these by selection, we will use exactly the same thing. We will go back to the vertices, A, select all. Then I want to change, I will press point on a keyboard, and I will go from median to individual origins. Also, you can get it here, from median to individual. All right, and now I will press E to extrude it. All right, S to scale it, and scale it a little bit. Like, I think this is okay. Maybe S and scale it a little bit less. And then if we enable this, see, we have something cool, but we can change it like that. All right, this is one way how you can do it if you want to use this solidify modifier. If you don't want to use it, just disable it and then go to faces, select all the faces, and again E to extrude it, and just extrude it a little bit. Also, we need to check from time to time the faces. Everything is cool except this rim, but also this is totally messed up. So how to fix it? Select all and then Shift N. It will recalculate the normals and we have perfect things. So that's cool. Slash forward, I will just isolate it with a forward slash on the keyboard. Okay, and I think this is cool. And now let's go back to the object, and I want to select this one. And again, with slash forward, isolate it, select, go to the face, select everything, Shift N, recalculate normals, and this is perfect. So now we have everything as it should be. And go back and uncheck face orientation. So this is really cool. I really like this. Let's go back and enable the solidify and see how our boat looks. Looks cool. Let's make it a little bit thinner. Okay, now let's go to the top view and let's add some boards. So I will go and add Shift A, add a cube, make a cube S and X wider on X-axis, S and Y like this, like a board where the people will sit, and then S and Z, and just make it really nice and thin like this. We can add, actually, first Control A and apply the scale, and we can add the bevel modifier here. Okay, maybe with the slab level of 2, but 1 is also okay for this low poly model, just for fun. Go to the top and actually move it down, GZ, and move it down, and let's put it to flat to this one. So I can go right here to faces. Okay, snap to face and enable this option, and then G and Z and snap it to this face. All right, perfect. It's snapped there. We can disable this, go to the top view and see where I want to put this one. So maybe G and Y and put it somewhere here. Somewhere here. I can go to edge mode, Shift Z to go to the X-ray mode, S, and go out of X-ray mode, S and Z and X. Okay, like here, and also select this, S and Z and X, sorry, S and X, like there. Okay, and perfect. We have this really cool board right there. We need to make a few more of them. Maybe this one is. We will see. Let's make another one. Shift D, make a copy, move it here. S and Shift Z. I don't want to scale it on Z. I just want to scale it like this. Okay, and go back to the vertices. These ones are selected from before, and Shift X and like that. Perfect. We can maybe S and X and scale it a little bit more like that. And I want another one. Shift D and move it right there. And I want S and Y, make it like that, this top part. Okay, move it a little bit on Y-axis here. And S and X somewhere here, and S and Y a little bit less like this. G and Y, move it a little bit to the front, and let's see, scale it a little bit down on X-axis, and then go to the vertex edit mode, to X-ray, select these two, S and X, and go like that. Perfect. So we have it's not perfect. Looks like it was perfect, but S and X, vertices S and X, scale it there. Perfect. Let's see. The shape of a boat looks really nice. I need to make another part here. So, yeah, I will make it there, no problem. But later. Now you will see why. Now let's do one cool thing, and that's to make these separate planks, like the boat is out of different parts of the board. So how to do it? First, we can disable this solidify modifier, but I will leave it on just for you to see what I'm doing. Actually, disable it, yeah. So now I want to select this, this, and this, and press P and separate it by selection. So this is a separate model. Then I don't like this to be inside, so let's select this one and G and Y and move it a little bit in. Right. Then this is a separate model. Okay, this is both back part. Very creative. Okay. Then we have this. Go back to the face, Alt and select it. And this is Shift P, just P, and separate by selection. All right. Then go back to the boat, select with Alt this ring, right? Again, P, separate by selection, and go back to the object, select this part of the boat and select this one. All right, P, separate by selection. Perfect. We have really cool 3 different selections. And if we enable solidify modifier, you will see now, enable it here, enable it here, enable it here, enable it here, and enable it here. Perfect. We have what we want. Just with this one, it's too much. I will go a little bit, no, I will go a little bit less, like that. Go to the top view and move this GY and move it inside. Actually, I could do this opposite, like that. Also, it would work. Right? Now we will make some corrections. This will go a little bit in, GY, and a little bit in. Okay, like that. So this hole here, we can fill it by going opposite, like up a little bit. Okay, actually we will go a little bit more up because I don't need this to be visible down at the bottom. I don't need these construction to be visible at all. It can be, we can make it like that, but for this purpose, I will leave it like that. And then what I like to do, I want to select one of these, go add bevel modifier, perfect. I can scale everything, I can scale all of these and the bottom. Okay. And now, where's the bottom? It's right there, so like that. And now we have a bevel modifier applied on this one. Let's go a little bit like this. I like to have 2 edges. It's a little bit better. It's not that much polygons. Okay, and then I will select everything here by holding Shift. And lastly, I will select this one where I applied the modifier. Control L and go with the copy modifiers. And now we will have all the modifiers here. Now I will go with G and Y with this back part and move it a little bit in, just like this for fun. And also I will go with this one, go to the top view, and I will go with vertices, X-ray mode, select all of these vertices, then GY and move it here. And also this one, let's see, this one I can move a little bit to the left and SX and scale it. See, when I'm scaling, see where it's scaling from this part, because this is the origin point of a boat and every other element share the same origin point. So I will go with right click and origin to geometry, and now I can S and X and scale it like this. Let's see how this looks. Looks decent. I like it. And also because this one has, let's see, let's hide this solidify modifier. This one has 3 different faces. If we separate these faces, they will have the same modifier. So let's see, select this face, P, separate by selection, and go back. Select this face, P, separate by selection, and then go back to object mode. Again, we have these 3 faces. So it's really beautiful and a really easy way to separate by selection. Okay, what I did here, with the bottom, I need to go back into the positive orientation. I can still leave it like this and then tweak. Let's leave it like that. Let me show you a way how to tweak it. I want to show this. So if you press Ctrl and 1, you will go back to the back mode. And then if you apply the solidify modifier, like that, and go back to the edges, and you select this bottom edge right there. Okay, let's make sure that everything is selected. Yes, it is. Then press, actually I will go to the object and set origin to geometry, and then go back to the edges. And if I scale it S and X. Scale it on X-axis like this, perfect. And then Control and 7 to go to the bottom view. Go to the vertices and select this vertex and move it here, and select this one and move it here. Select these and move it here. We can tweak it. If you want to invest a little bit more time, you can just tweak it like this, right? S and X, scale it on X-axis, and this one also S and X. Let's see, should we tweak something here? Maybe this one and this one, X and X. And now let's see what we did. So yeah, now everything is nice and sealed and the water cannot come in. Now we will select this one, G and Z, a little bit up, and this one, and go to the edges, select, wait, this one, go to the edges, select this bottom edge, right, and then G and Y and move it down. Okay, now pretend that it's perfectly sealed. Okay, I really like it. Now let's add even more elements here for the sitting part. So I will copy this board, right, Shift D, move it back here, and let's see, G and Y, put it here, S and X, and scale it somewhere here, and go back to the vertices, go to the X-ray mode, select this and this, S and X, scale it here, and then select these vertices and G and Y and move it here. Let's see, I want to move it G and Y here, and then S and X, wait, S and X, no, S and X, not Z. I'm making here a mistake on keyboard, S and X, like that, perfect. And now what I like to do with this one, well, I like to go, let's see, add an edge loops. So let's go to faces, select all, or don't need to select anything, add an edge loop and scroll with the mouse wheel several times, like this. Okay, confirm it. And now, while still the edge loops are selected, Control B, bevel it a little bit like this. And then I will go to the object back, Control A to apply the scale, go back to the faces, this is still selected, and I will go with Alt E and extrude along normals and extrude in a little bit, like this, okay? And now if we apply, yeah, the bevel is still applied, we don't need to apply anything. This is cool, but what we can do still is to make it even more fun and go to the faces, select this face, select this face, and just go and say E to extrude it up a little bit. Okay, then go to the vertices, select this, and S and X. Wait. Oh, okay. X-ray, select this and this, S and X, and still won't move it. Why? Well, let's go one by one. G and move it here, G and move it here, and then we can select this one and this one, go back here, go to the edges, right? Ooh, go to the edges, so we have these edges selected, press Ctrl B and bevel these edges like this. I think this is really nice. You can scale it a little bit or scale it on X like that or whatever. Let's leave it like that, and let's go to the vertices. And what I like to do is to select this vertex and G and X and move it a little bit here, and select this one, G and X, and move it here. Okay, so this is how it looks. You don't need to do these extra details, but I really like it. Let's add this boat top part, which we will also tweak. So let's see, this need to be G and Y a little bit inside. That's perfect. And let's see the other parts, like I will select everything with the Alt, and then with the Shift I will deselect this one. I will go with the S and X, and scale it a little bit in, S and X, like that. Oh, we have this, we need to tweak it. And then just this part, S and X, okay, a little bit like that. I think this looks beautiful for a low poly boat, okay. And this, we need to tweak it, so go back to the vertices and top view, and X-ray, and just G and Y, move it a little bit in. Let's see, I think we did it. Yeah, we did it. This looks perfect. Everything is nice. The boat looks really good. So if you want to make it high poly, and we're not done yet. We need to do a few more details. But if you want to make it high poly from low poly, just go and add the subdivision surface modifier. It's subdivision surface, and you can see maybe 2 subdivisions, then right click, shade smooth, and you will see how cool this looks. So I will just add quickly the same thing here, shade smooth. Now it's much better, it's more high poly, and you can do that for everything here, and shade it smooth and have really nice boat. But this is not this type of tutorial. Then I will make it a little bit different and add even more details. But for now, this is more than enough. I will go with this one, G and Z, and move it a little bit down. G and Z. Okay, like that. We can add a bevel here if we want also, just for fun, to add a little bit more geometry. Okay, and what I like to do, I like to add this part. I should done this before I made this mess, but let's see. Now if I... Yeah, I should done this at the beginning. When I had this as one whole part, it would be much easier, but now I don't have it. So what I will do, I will go with the plane. R, X, 90 degrees, rotate 90 degrees on X, go like that, scale it on Z axis like this, G and Z, move it down, G and actually S and Z, and scale it a little bit up. And okay, now press 3, go to the side view, G and Y, and move it all the way here, okay. And now I will cut this into 3 different parts. So I'll go to the faces, Control R1, Control R2. So we have 3 different parts. Go back to, yeah, we can leave it on the edges. Go to the side view, select this edge, G and Y. Oh yeah, I need to select this edge, sorry, my mistake. Okay, this edge, G and Y, and move it right there. Then select this edge, actually this edge right here, G and Y, and move it here. And I will go to vertices and X-ray mode, so G and Y, it's easier. Move it here. Okay, perfect. Now what we need to do is just to go back to the faces, normal mode, select all the faces and E to extrude it. Okay, but I will extrude along normals. Come on. Before that, scale, then apply scale, then extrude along normals. See what a big difference, like that. And then I will go with S and X and make something really cool like this, like a top part of a boat. You can bevel this if you want. I will go with, I will go with just this part, S and X, and scale it a little bit more down. And this looks really, really cool. I will leave it just like that for this low poly boat. This is amazing. Now let's make a pedal and the pedal holder, and we're done. So I will go here and create cylinder. Move the cylinder right there, and I will go with S and X and 90 degrees. Oh, not S, but R and X and 90 degrees. All right, and then S and Y, I'll scale it down, right? And before that, you can see this is okay. I will leave it like that. I will delete this face, I will delete this face, and I will go and delete, let's see, select edges, X-ray mode, and delete everything here, and X, delete vertices. Okay, go back to the object, out of X-ray mode, go back to the faces, select all the faces, and Alt E, and just make this kind of extrusion. Okay, this is perfect. I will move this somewhere here, R, Z 90 degrees. This will be a part where the pedal will go through. But what I need to do is to go to vertices, select with X-ray mode this and this, S, Z, 0 to make it straight on the Z axis, and then G and Z and move it a little bit down. Okay, perfect. And now let's make another thing right there. So I will go with Shift S and cursor to select it, and now add a cube with Shift A, add a cube right there. S and Y, scale it on Y, scale it on Z. Okay, G and Z down. Right there, S and X, like this. And select everything, make it smaller. Yeah, we need to go back here and go to median, make it smaller. And I will be going, move it here, rotate it, something like that, and go with G and Z and just tweak it here. In order to make it a little bit more interesting, I will go with Control Alt and select all the edges here, Control B, and bevel it a little bit. But before that, again, I need to go with this, apply the scale, and then Control B and bevel it, maybe like this, right? And maybe this one will be even more like this. And I think this looks cool. Maybe G and Z a little bit down. Okay, perfect. Now let's go and select the boat and Shift S and cursor to select it. And then we can, maybe this needs to be bigger. So like that. And we can mirror this. So we can go and add a mirror geometry on the x-axis on the boat here. Okay, this and also this mirror on the boat, and that's perfect, and we will leave it there. Now let's make a pedal and we are done with this boat. And now before we add the pedals, I just want to tweak this a little bit. So I want this to have more thickness. So I will go to the faces, select this face and press and hold Control and select this one, and then just press S and scale it a little bit. Not like that, but S and Shift X. I don't want to scale it on X. Or maybe even better, add an extrude along normals. So something like that. And also I want to check normals here. Yeah, I thought it so. So select all with the A, Shift N, and this is it. This is cool, right? We have this, and we can go right there and right there and right there and right there, and we can bevel this a little bit. Control B and just, oh, see, we need to apply the scale because its beveling is not going properly. So, and this is much better. So something like this, and I think that's cool. We can go and say shade smooth if you want, and also this we can go and shade smooth if you want. Okay, now to make a pedal, I will go to the top view. I will go with Shift A and make a cube. Move the cube somewhere here. Let's make a basic shape, S and X, something like this, S and Y, something like this. Okay, then make it thinner. Okay, S and Z, like that. And now let's go to the face mode. Select, let's start from this face. Select this face, E to extrude it, S and X to scale it on X-axis. Again, E to extrude it, S and X, scale it on X-axis like this. Maybe S and X like that, and maybe go to the edge and S and X like that. Perfect. Now let's go here. Go back to the face, select this face, and and go to the top view, E to extrude it, S and X to scale it down like this, G and Y a little bit here. Let's see, S and X a little bit actually here, E to extrude it, S and X a little bit here. And now what I like to do, E to extrude it, G and like this, and then E to extrude it, S and X like that, E to extrude it, and E to extrude it, S and X like this, and maybe G and Y here, and then again E to extrude it, S and X like this, G and Y right there. Maybe we can move this one down with double G and this one down with double G, and then this S and X, just to make a little bit better shape, S and X like that. Okay, this looks nice. And what we can do also is select this with Control and Alt and select all of these around, and also this Control Alt, Control Alt, Control Alt, Control Alt. Select this one and this one. Perfect. And now bevel it. Control B. And see how it's crazy beveling? That's because we need to apply the scale. So go back to Object, Control A, apply the scale, go back to Edges, and Control B and bevel it. Oh yeah, I don't need this and this. Control B, bevel it like that. Perfect. I like it. And maybe we could bevel everything, but no, I will leave it like that. And maybe I can just select this and this, this and this and this and this, and bevel this a little bit like that. Okay, now we have a pedal, which is really low poly pedal. Maybe make it a little bit smaller, rotate it here, right click and go and set origin to geometry, put it right there, go to the top view. Okay, rotate it a little bit, put it here. Let's go to the side view. We can go with G, Y, Y, and go to local Y axis. And we have a really nice pedal here. Maybe we want to rotate the pedal. Rotate from here and say rotate to 3D cursor, or go here and 3D cursor and R and just rotate it like this. Okay, and I want to mirror this, so add mirror modifier and mirror it on this, for example, x-axis, and yeah, we have really cute pedal. If I make it bigger a little bit, not bad at all. We have really cool boat with a really cute pedals, maybe a little bit bigger, like this. So really cute low poly boat. Now we can texture the boat. So in order to texture it, we'll just add a color, and that color will be just a brown color, maybe a variation. So let's go here. I will go, okay, like in the viewport shading mode, and go to the material, and I will go and name this material wood number 1. Okay, and go with some kind of a brownish, desaturated brownish tone. Okay, something like that. And we can now select this one, add a new, and add the same, that tone, but I will now make a copy and say this is wood number 2, and add a slightly brighter, slightly saturated, and change slightly hue like this. See, we can do that. Actually, let's see if we make it brighter a lot like that, and then go with this, and this, and this, and say Control L and link materials. Perfect. And maybe go with this one, and instead of this one, go with wood number 2, just to make a little bit interesting wood. Maybe then this one to switch to wood number 1. Pedals should be wood number 1, maybe. Not bad. Not bad at all. And also I want this to be rough material. I don't want to have a lot of shine. So this is a really cute small boat. And also this should have maybe wood number 2, and this should have some kind of metal. Okay, and it will be some kind of gray, maybe a little bit shiny, a little bit metallic mode. And also, let's see. No, I will leave it like that. I don't want to add too much details. Maybe I have this idea. Go to the top view, S and Y twice to go to the local y-axis, right? And then go with cylinder, make it smaller, add a new cylinder. Go here, add a cylinder right there. And S and Z make it smaller, and then G and Z and move it down right there. Go to the medium point, or right here, right? And S and scale. Actually, I want to bevel it, Control B, and leave it like that. G and Z and move it down, and like this is some kind of a bolt here. Maybe this bolt is not that low poly, but we can make it even lower poly model, but I will leave it like this for this purpose. Okay, I will move it here. Oof. So G and double Shift D to duplicate, and I will move it here, and I will select all of 3 and then Control L, come on, Control L and link materials. And now I need to copy this on the other side, so I will select this one and this one, Control J, to join it as one object. Okay, and then I will add a mirror modifier. Mirror modifier on the boat right there. Perfect. Perfect. Let's see. Yeah, these are just small details that is okay to be there. Perfect. Also, if I go right here to the world and add environment texture and my HDR that I downloaded from polyhaven.com, and go to the render view and go instead from Eevee to cycles, and this is how our really cute boat looks. Maybe I will go right there to film, transparent, I don't want to see the background, and this is really cool. So we have this low poly look here. You can see if you go to shade smooth option, we can shade it smooth, and we can go here to 180. And if you don't want to see these as a low poly model, you can just shade smooth. Let's see, yeah, and we can shade smooth this. I'm just showing you as an example. You can do that for everything, but I like that low poly. This is the point of this tutorial, to make a low poly model, and this is it. Okay, so we made it. We created really cute low poly boat, and now the best practice is to create exactly the same boat by following this tutorial, and then close the tutorial and try to do it from start to finish on your own, or a little bit with the help of tutorial. This is the best practice to learn and to store the learned knowledge for the future. Now with these tips, tricks and techniques you learn with this tutorial, you can create a lot of other shapes, different boats or different other shapes, different objects, because you learn a lot of principles here to apply in your modeling techniques. Okay, in the next episode we will use this low poly boat for the next scene that we will build. See you there. Bye bye.